Good morning and welcome to Old Man Energy. Thank you for being with me today. If this is your first time here, I hope you find a reason to come back. And if you are back, then you found that reason. Today's episode is going to start off sounding a little bit negative on the front side, but I want you to stick with it because it's not negative at all. I got some stuff I got to say that's going to make this entire thing a lot more relevant. One thing I've really been struggling with here lately, especially as there's other people out there, and a lot of you out there are struggling and coming up on the end of the year and the holidays, we're all feeling the pressure of needing to push forward and succeed. And one of the things a lot of my subs come up to me and they're like, oh man, well, Christmas snuck up on me again this year. Well, I don't have a lot of sympathy for that because Christmas is the same time every year. But it doesn't make it any less pressure. And if we didn't plan for it or you didn't plan for it, well, you can beat yourself up or you can actually do something about it. And that's what this is really about. It's beginning of November and this is about goals, but this is about more than goals because everybody talks about goals. Everybody talks about dreams. This is about real implementation and how to do it. But this is also about that false sense of success that's being propagated online. And a lot of it's just as an excuse to take your money. And I hate it. And it drives me insane. And I don't like seeing that influencer campaign where everybody's a flipping AI expert. And then 6 months ago, they were all blue collar experts. And 6 months before that, they were real estate experts. And it's one thing after another. It's the same people propagating it, doing it over and over again. Here's the thing. You don't buy your way to success. There's only one way to get there. It's kind of like working out. It's kind of like losing weight. Is the reason that a fit person, when they walk in, has more credibility than people who are not fit is because you know that you can't order that from Temu or from Amazon. You have to put in the work every day. So you automatically know something about that person. But being a fit person doesn't automatically qualify you to being successful in business any more than taking a picture in front of a big house or a fancy car qualifies you for being successful in business. And everybody, it seems, has a morning routine or an instant fix for $97 or $100 or this or that. You're going to get everything you want. And I'm not against monetizing knowledge that you have that nobody else does, because I really believe that you should only take information and implement information from people that are qualified to give it. Now, if you're paying for it, they need to be emotionally invested in the outcome. If you're taking advice from people you're not paying, you need to make sure they're qualified to give advice just in general anyway. But if you're getting advice from somebody that you're not paying for, make sure they're emotionally invested in the outcome. Otherwise, they're just talking. And if you do everything they say, it only impacts your life. It only affects your life. And that's not a good thing. I don't think people intentionally give bad advice. There are some psychos out there that might do that, but I don't think that's the case. But some people don't know what they're talking about, but it makes them feel good in the moment. Another thing that drives me absolutely bonkers is all of these morning routines. And Tim Ferriss wrote a book, and the name of the book escapes me right now, but it's about hyper successful people's morning routines. There's a lot of value in there. The book is amazing because it's how these people stay successful. It's not how a lot of them got successful. So one thing I like about Grover's work is he talks about before these guys, that when he starts working with them, they're already high performers, but he talks about what they did before they made it up into that top tier. And some of the stuff that you see in these morning routines, yeah, it's there. Some of it's not. But the point of it is, and reality is for most of us, is that the reason that successful people have a morning routine is because they now have time to have a morning routine. But when you're truly building, and here's what nobody's going to tell you, you don't have time for a 12-step morning routine. You don't have a war footing. You don't have a, God, I don't remember what all they call it. The different folks call it, but you don't have time for all of the different things that come about from successful people telling you what they did to get successful. 99% of the time, it's not what they did to get successful. When I was building the businesses originally, I did nothing but work. Now, beforehand, Des and I sat down, we set a goal, we talked about it. I remember laying in bed next to each other and looking at her, and a job had just fallen through. I was still corporate at the time. And telling her, saying, the next 90 days are really going to suck if we do this. It's going to be struggle. It's going to be hard. That was our first step of really talking about our goals and sharing and going from there. And I completely changed career paths at that time. Wasn't yet an entrepreneur, but was looking going in a different direction. I had been corporate.com exec and then transitioned into sales. I knew how to sell. I'd sold before. That wasn't the point. Point was is that I had no pipeline. I had no background, and I was doing it in a completely new town, new area with no contacts. I knew it was going to suck, and I knew that we were going to be living on a base just for a little while. We talked about it, and we did it. We sucked it up, and we made it, and that was fine. It was good. And then when we decided that we were going to earn our freedom and talked about what our goals and our dreams really were, we had a similar discussion. It's like, all right, this is going to suck. The thing is I don't know how long this is going to suck for. It's going to suck for a while, but I don't know how long it's going to be. Turns out it was about 16, 17 months for her and about 22 months for me. Used to say it was 18 months, but I went back and looked it up and did the timelines. It was almost 2 years. No morning routine, working a day job, working at night, building a business, building our dreams. And there were a lot of times that I didn't sleep except on my lunch hour or for an hour or two before I went to work. And sometimes I came home from one and took a shower and went back to the other. And I did that 6, 7 days a week, all the time. There was no break. That level of dedication looks like insanity, but it doesn't leave much time for a morning routine. Now, the one thing that I did through all of that is I continued to read because it's just a part of who I am. There were times where the only time I had to read was in the bathroom, but that was the nature of it. A lot of us have that time to read and we just don't because we spend it scrolling through our phones these days. The point is that you don't have to have some fancy morning routine to be successful because you implement a morning routine because you have some time and you don't act on it every day and you fail and it doesn't work. That doesn't matter. That's okay. You still have to do the work. How about just get up and go to work? Or look at it and go, okay, well, I don't have time to do that this morning, so fine. I'm going to go ahead and go on about my business. My day at the end of the day rarely looks like the plan that I set for it the night before. And it's very frustrating, especially given what I'm about to talk to you guys about. But if you are truly sick of influencer nonsense and ready to learn how to take control of your life and then actually start taking control of your life, because I do not believe that a lot of you need to learn how to take control of your life. I think you already know, you just aren't doing it. So if you're ready to do that, then in every bio, whatever platform you're watching this on, my book, Any Idiot with a Hammer's there. That's going to do two things. One, it's going to give you a free copy of that book. And inside that book is my steps for setting goals and for turning them into daily tasks. Number two, it's going to put you on my mailing list, and you're going to want to be on my email list. Some emails send out newsletters, this and that, and yeah, we might do that in the future. But over the next 90 plus days, I'm working on a project that shows specifically exactly how this works, and it's going to be going out to my email list. And some of it may bleed over here in the pod, but if you want those weekly updates as far as what I'm doing, specifically how I'm doing it, my wins, my failures, and how I'm making things work, I want you on that email list. And you want to be on that email list because you're going to realize that it doesn't take a magic wand. It doesn't take anybody special. Anybody can do it. The challenge is that nobody's ever done what you're attempting to do before. And as a result, it makes it harder because you're trying to figure stuff out and you're trying to work and you don't know if it's going to work or not. The problem with that is that we live in a society where we have the outcome of most things predetermined. We know exactly what's going to happen at the end of those times. That being said, go download the book. If you want if you can't get to work, can't find it, just send me a DM, comment here. It doesn't matter. We're going to be exploding this thing. I'm excited about this. I'm a little pissed off about it because I'm about 3 or 4 days into it. It's not going how I expected it to go, but you know what? That's fine because it's been a while since I've done this and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool revisiting this and revisiting some of these feelings. I'm documenting all that and putting it out there. So follow along. But for now, follow the rest of this episode. This is November. In the book, in Any Idiot with a Hammer, you're going to see me talking about 11-month year. Here's why I talk about an 11-month year, because I believe and have been proven right year after year that from November to December, we realistically only have about 4 weeks of productive time. Now, you can break down how that works or this or that, but the end of the year is full of distractions. There's 3 major holidays all back to back, 2 of them within the same week at the end of the year. We have Christmas parties, kids' Christmas parties. There's family coming into town. Just so much is associated with this time of year that we're not as productive as we normally are. Now, there's a few crazy guys out there who don't slow down, and I love y'all for that. But as a general rule, we don't do as much as we normally do throughout the course of the year. Now, the exciting piece of this is that that's immediately backed up by one of the most productive times of the year, and I'm going to talk about that in a later podcast. What can you do with this? Well, the first thing that you can do is if you're close to hitting your goals for 2025, then you give it everything you've got to hit your goals for 2025 in the next 60 days so that you knock them out. But if you're off the rails, if you've given up, or if you didn't set any goals for 2025, now is the time to cheat the system. Now is the time to get a head start and run into 2026 with already having done a lot of tasks toward what your goals are. Well, how do you set goals that matter to you? Because the number one problem with goals, aside from people not writing them down, is knowing what to do tomorrow to make them happen down the road. And this is going to solve that problem for you. Here's what you do. Decide what you want. Decide what your dream is. Write it down. Assign some kind of value to it. If it's a house, that's easy. If it's a car, that's easy. It doesn't have to be exactly accurate. Just get something, a number on paper. If it's something that can't be historically quantified, freedom, I want out of my job, I want a part-time job, I want this, I want that. Come up with something that you can put down a number to. If you want out of your job, that one's usually pretty easy. How much do you make? Well, that's how much you need to replace. Usually it's 1.5 times, but 1 time is enough to get you going. I want more time with my family. That's my number one goal. Well, how do you have more time with your family? Well, I need to work a little less. I need to be home a little more, so I need an extra $500 a month, whatever it is. The actual number itself does not matter as long as it's relatively close and you believe that that number ties into your dream somehow. That has now become a goal. Now you put a date on it. Okay, 2026. I'm going to do this by May of 2026 or August of 2026 or November of 26 or the end of the year, whatever it is. You put a date on it. One of the great quotes that I love is a goal is a dream with a date on it. Doesn't really mean anything if you don't put a date on it, because then it just kind of keeps moving somewhere into that nebulous future and going on. Once you put a date on it, okay, well, it's 12 months out. Well, take that number and divide it by 12. Okay, well, now there's your number that you need to do. Okay, I need to do this much this month. Do the same thing by week. Do the same thing by day. Now you know what you need to achieve and shoot for every day. So then you just ask yourself, what tasks do I need to do? What habits do I need to change that are going to make this number happen every single day? Those are your standards. Those are your non-negotiables. Those are the things that you need to do every day to make your goals and dreams come true. And if you're not willing to get down to this level of specificity, then you really don't want what it is you say you want. But if you do dig down to this level of specificity, now you know what you need to do tomorrow to make these things that you said you wanted happen. And again, I went into a couple weeks ago, don't go sharing your dreams and goals with everybody else. Talk about it with your spouse because they're on your journey, this journey with you. Talk about it with a mentor because they're on the journey with you. But don't go giving yourself dopamine just because you set goals. You're going to feel pretty good now that you got a plan. Implementing it's whole different action. So that's really why I'm doing this and why I'm documenting this, because I'm going to prove at any age that this system works and that the American dream is not dead. There are real people out there who are willing to help you, willing to teach you, and will show you through hard work and effort what's happening and what's going on, and just try and cut through some of the bullshit out there. Also, there's a lot of power in public accountability as long as you don't let it become a dopamine dump for you. And I have to show that. I can't teach that. Not because it's impossible to teach. I just haven't figured out an effective way to teach it. So I'm going to show you, and along the line, I'm going to figure out a way to teach it. This means giving up a lot of the freedom that I've had. This means giving up a lot of the loose structure that I built my life around, and I love more than anything. I'll die on that freedom hill, because that's the number one thing that's been in my life and that I've fought for my whole life. So I'll get into the specifics in the email list as far as what I'm doing, but understand the structure that I just gave you for setting and those standards and what you need to do every day is exactly what I'm doing and what I've done and how I'm putting this in here. So this is not an attempt to make you feel worse about where you're at. You know what? Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to be a business owner. Some people are happy in their job. They just like to have a little more time with their kids. Maybe they'd like to go to more of their games. Maybe they'd like to take their family on 2 vacations instead of 1 a year. Maybe go on a vacation that's not just a grandma's house. I don't know what your goal is. It doesn't matter. As long as it's important to you and is exciting to you, that's all that matters. Don't ever let anybody tell you what you want out of life is not important. I get excited when people share their dreams and goals with me because I can see them light up. I can see that spark come alive in their eyes. And what you look at as depression or frustration or being lost or what have you, once you get a purpose behind what you're doing and you have just a semblance of belief that it might work, your whole perspective on life changes. It's incredible to watch somebody wake up and actually start pursuing their dreams and their goals. And then when they start achieving them, it's even more exciting. I expect to prove that anyone, anywhere, at any time can do this with no money, no matter your starting point. It doesn't matter. That's what I'm going to show. Now, everybody has resources. You have the knowledge that's in your head. You have the people around you. You may not know what they are, but everybody has resources that you can leverage, but you can't see them until tell your brain to start looking for them. So whenever you put everything on the line, that's when shit starts to get real. There's no secret to how this works. You just have to set your goal standards and get up and do it. Will a morning routine help? Yes, if you have some structure. If you don't have time for it, wake up, go to work, do what you need to do. Make it so you don't have to think about it. Make it so that you automatically do every day what you need to do every day. That's it. These are non-negotiables. Set them, go from there. If there's more, download the book. It's free. It tells you how to do it. If you don't want to be on the email list, that's fine. If you want to watch me do it and you want some inspiration from that, then awesome. Then I'm looking forward to sharing with you. And there's going to be a lot more coming. I'm working on a lot of stuff in the background. If you don't already like and subscribe to me on different social medias, smash that button down there on the bottom. And let's go. Let's make a difference. Let's make 2026 one of the most productive and enlightening years that you've ever had. It's not up to anybody else. Nobody's coming to give you permission, and nobody's going to do it for you. It's 100% up to you. If you have a smidge, just a small micro piece of belief somewhere inside of you, it's worth acting on because you are the most important person in your world. And if you look around, you're the most important person to a lot of people, and you've got a lot of people that believe in you. And I know I may not have even talked to you, and I may never talk to you, but I believe in you, and I know that you can do it. I love y'all.